Listen, if you watched the Chiefs in Brazil, you probably felt it. This wasn't just a slow day for the rushing attack. It was a glaring, obvious flaw that showed up in front of everyone. Right away, let's set the scoreboard stuff. Patrick Mahomes ended up as the team's leading rusher. 6 carries for 57 yards and that scrambling touchdown. Isaiah Pacheco and Kareem Hunt combined for 10 carries. 10. That's not a running game. That's a footnote. Here's what hit me in the first quarter. The Chiefs came in with a plan that felt built to win with tempo and explosive plays. Then Xavier Worthy goes down early with that shoulder injury, and suddenly the offense looks like it reverted to the previous year. Smaller plays, less vertical threat, and predictable calls. When your passing game loses that juice, the defense can play safer. And if you don't punish them on the ground, they'll just dare you to throw. That's exactly what happened. You could see the consequences in a handful of plays. The red zone sequence where Pacheco cuts inside instead of getting the outside lane. Bad execution that matters. But also plays where the offensive line failed to push and backs had nowhere to go. It's hard to build a rhythm when the team hands off 5 times. Volume matters. Reps matter. If you only run the ball 5 times, you'll never know whether your backs can make something out of nothing. Now, I don't want you to think I'm just piling on Pacheco. He's a tough, reliable player. The transcript even notes he's a locker room guy. The problem is systemic. Limited carries, questionable play-calling decisions, and an offensive line that didn't look ready to open lanes. That combination turned into a one-dimensional attack. And one-dimensional attacks against quality defenses, especially early in the season, are dangerous. So here's the immediate takeaway. Week 1 didn't just show poor execution, it exposed an overall strategy problem. The Chiefs didn't lean into the run when circumstances demanded it, and that left Mahomes to do too much on his own. If you're asking me whether this is fixable, absolutely it is. But it will need changes in approach, not just throwaway adjustments. When you look back at that Chargers game, the natural question is, who deserves the most blame for the collapse of the running game? Let's break it down piece by piece, because pointing fingers at just one spot doesn't tell the full story. First up, the offensive line. This group is built to protect Mahomes first, run block second. That's been the identity for years. And against the Chargers it showed. The lack of push was obvious. You've got Creed Humphrey and Trey Smith, 2 of the top-paid interior linemen in football. And yet we didn't see them winning battles at the line of scrimmage. If you're paying premium money to anchors like that, they need to be dominant in both the passing and running phases. So far, that hasn't been the case. And when your backs are hit before they even hit the hole, that's a recipe for a dead-run game. Now let's talk about Isaiah Pacheco and Kareem Hunt. Pacheco took the heat online for that red zone play where he cut inside instead of bouncing it outside. And yeah, he missed the read. It could have been a touchdown if he trusted the block and hit the edge. But here's the bigger picture. 5 carries doesn't give any back time to find rhythm. The truth is, Pacheco's style is about toughness and volume. He wears defenses down. Giving him a handful of attempts doesn't allow him to be the weapon he can be. As for Hunt, at this stage of his career, he's a situational player. He made a nice catch on 4th down, but he's not the prime Kareem Hunt we saw in 2018. These aren't bad backs, but they aren't being given the opportunity or the scheme to thrive. That brings me to the coaching. Andy Reid and Matt Nagy are known for designing pass-first offenses. We know that. But here's what didn't make sense. When Xavier Worthy left the game and the explosive element disappeared, the staff doubled down on throwing the ball. If you lose your vertical weapon, logic says lean on the run, protect your quarterback, and grind out drives. Instead, the Chiefs looked more predictable, and the Chargers' defense adjusted easily. The coaching staff has to shoulder responsibility here. You can't abandon the run entirely and expect Mahomes to carry the entire load week after week. So who's to blame? Honestly, it's shared. The line didn't dominate, The backs had missed reads and no rhythm, and the coaches didn't adjust. But if you forced me to rank the causes, I'd go play calling first, O-line second, running backs third. Without better balance and commitment from the top, it doesn't matter who lines up in the backfield. Now let's zoom out and put this in perspective. When you look at the Chiefs over the past several seasons, there's a pattern that's hard to ignore. This team has consistently struggled to field a reliable, dominant rushing attack. And it's not just about one bad game against the Chargers. It's a long-term trend. Since Patrick Mahomes took over as starter in 2018, the Chiefs have been top 5 in passing almost every year. But when it comes to rushing, rarely above middle of the pack. In several seasons, they've been bottom third in yards per game and near the bottom in yards per carry. Think about that. The best quarterback in football paired with Andy Reid, and yet defenses never really fear. Kansas City's ground game. That imbalance creates pressure. Defenses can sit back, drop into coverage, and play too high shells, daring the Chiefs to run. And too often, Kansas City just doesn't take the dare. Why does this matter? Because a weak run game makes Mahomes' job harder. Look at other elite QBs. Tom Brady had strong run support in his best years with New England and Tampa. Peyton Manning, late in his career, relied heavily on a strong rushing attack with Denver. Even Joe Burrow in Cincinnati looks completely different when Joe Mixon or another back gets going. A consistent run game forces defenses to stay honest, opens up play action, and makes those third and short situations manageable. Without it, you're asking your quarterback to play hero ball every drive. Even Mahomes can't do that forever. In the Chiefs' Super Bowl wins, the run game wasn't always spectacular, but it was timely. Damian Williams in 2019 closed out the Niners with that huge touchdown run. Last year, Pacheco's toughness gave Kansas City enough balance to keep defenses off balance. The point is this: you don't need the best rushing attack in the league, but you do need one that shows up when it matters most. Right now, what we saw against the Chargers doesn't inspire confidence that the Chiefs can lean on their ground game in crunch time. Another layer is the offensive line construction. Brett Veach has spent big and drafted high to assemble a unit that should be dominant. Yet the results in the run game haven't matched the price tag. That's where frustration builds. If you've invested that much capital, shouldn't you expect dominance at the point of attack? So what can the Chiefs actually do to fix this before it costs them in a critical playoff moment? Let's move into fixes that are realistic and actionable. First, scheme adjustments. Andy Reid is one of the most creative offensive minds in football. But sometimes, that creativity works against the run game. Too many shotgun draws or cute motions can disrupt timing rather than create space. What this offense needs are more downhill concepts, gap runs, power looks, and plays that let the offensive line fire forward instead of catching defenders. Isaiah Pacheco thrives on decisive cuts and straight-line violence. Give him those chances instead of asking him to dance behind the line. A little more commitment to physicality could go a long way. Second, commit to rhythm. Running the ball isn't just about play design. It's about volume. Pacheco has proven that he gets stronger as the game goes on. 5 to 7 carries won't cut it. You need 12, 15, maybe even 18 attempts in a game for him to fully wear down a defense. And that doesn't mean ignoring Mahomes. It means blending the run into the game plan so it sets up the pass. Every successful run shortens down and distance, opens up play action, and makes life easier for everyone. Third, get the backs involved in creative ways. If Kareem Hunt is going to have a role, lean into his strengths. He's still a reliable pass catcher out of the backfield. Design packages where he can chip block and then release as a safety valve. Meanwhile, Pacheco can be used on more screens and quick hitters to get him into space. Sometimes your run game can be an extension of the short passing game. Quick, high-percentage throws that mimic handoffs, but still keep defenses honest. Fourth, demand more from the offensive line. This group has too much talent and investment to be mediocre in the run game. That's on coaching, too. Offensive line coach Andy Heck needs to emphasize finishing blocks and bringing a nasty edge. If the Chiefs can't win at the point of attack, nothing else matters. Mahomes shouldn't be your best runner, and too often, that's what it looks like. Finally, trust the process. A single bad game doesn't mean the Chiefs are doomed, but ignoring the issue would be a mistake. Reid and Nagy don't have to call 40 runs a game. They just need enough commitment to force defenses to respect it. Because when January comes, the ability to hand it off, grind clock, and pick up tough yards will separate contenders from pretenders. At the end of the day, everything about the Kansas City Chiefs comes back to Patrick Mahomes. He's the best quarterback in the league, maybe already one of the best of all time. But here's the truth. Even a player of his caliber can't do it all on his own. That's why the conversation about the running game isn't just nitpicking. It's directly tied to how far this team can go. If the Chiefs can't lean on a reliable run game when the passing attack hits a wall, everything falls on Mahomes' shoulders. And while he's proven time and time again he can rise to the occasion, asking him to be Superman every single playoff run isn't sustainable. Fixing the run game doesn't mean replacing Mahomes' magic. It means maximizing it. When defenses have to respect the run, play action becomes deadly. Safeties creep down, linebackers hesitate, and suddenly those deep shots to Kelsey, Worthy, or Rashee Rice open back up. And here's the ripple effect. A more functional run game helps the defense too. Sustained drives, better time of possession, and fresher legs for the defensive front in the fourth quarter. Those things add up and can be the difference in January. So Chiefs Kingdom, what's your solution? Do you want to see more carries for Pacheco, more creative packages for Hunt, or a mid-season addition at running back? Drop one-word comments. Type run if you want a bell cow back, scheme if you trust Reid to fix it, or line if you think the offensive line needs to be the priority. I'll be reading every single reply. If you found this breakdown helpful, hit that subscribe button. We're pushing to 5,000 subscribers, and every new sub helps us keep producing these deep dives. Smash the like button if you want more weekly film breakdowns, and share this with a friend who's been arguing about whether the Chiefs need a new running back. Thanks for watching, and as always, go Chiefs!